All right, fine.
All right. When did you first start learning about the theory of evolution?
Probably formally in high school, although I imagine I must have known something about it before then.
Okay. And what were your thoughts on the theory when you first started learning about it, and what are your thoughts about evolution now?
You know, honestly, I do remember my high school biology teacher teaching us about evolution. I don't remember feeling anything remarkable about it other than it was something else I had to learn about for biology class. And it's an idea that just seems like a natural way to understand the world. I majored in biology in college. It was part of that curriculum. It just has always been sort of a part of the way I understand the world.
All right. And did you or anyone else you know ever encounter problems while learning about evolution as far as why it's being taught?
Evolution education in this country is an interesting topic. I never had any problems learning about it. I have encountered some resistance as a teacher.
And what do you mean by that resistance?
I've had students occasionally ask, do I believe in evolution? Do I believe in God? If I believe in evolution, does that mean that I believe that there is no God? I've had some parents object to their students taking my class, and we've had some discussions with that. I've had some kids withdraw from my classes because the parents don't want their students exposed to the idea of evolution.
I see. And what drove you to want to teach a course about evolution?
You know, evolution is simply the idea of change over time. There's cosmic evolution, there's biological evolution, and if you're interested in the natural world and the way life works the way I am, you see the change happening, and I think it's a wonderful story of how everything is interconnected, that everything is related to everything else, and everything draws from everything else. It's really this continual thread through time that binds us all together.
That's great. And you named your course Journeys Through Time. What's the meaning behind it?
Well, I think exactly that we are all part of this amazing journey that started so long ago with the creation of the universe, and the stardust that has created the universe is also what shapes us, that we are part of that connectedness.
Great. And when proposing your idea to the school board about your course, did any of its members object to it? And if they did, what were their reasons?
Yeah, okay, I had one objection, but it had nothing to do with the teaching of evolution. I had one person who objected because they thought it sounded like a history course, not a science course.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. And what reasons did you give the school board to finally have your course accepted?
Well, I had to justify that I was doing a lot of lab work. I mean, I had to address this isn't a science course objection, but once I did that and demonstrated that I had a lot of hands-on lab activities, then I had no problem with getting this course accepted.
That's great. And as of now, how long have you been teaching evolution in the entire time you've been teaching?
Well, I've been a high school teacher for 7 years. I've always taught biology, and evolution is part of the California biology curriculum, so I've taught that the entire time. And then I have this astrobiology course that is dedicated to teaching evolutionary biology that I've been teaching for 3 years now.
Okay, and how do you feel about creationism being taught in public schools?
Creationism doesn't belong in a science class, simply because it is not, it doesn't have a scientific basis. Science is limited to understanding the natural world using testable, repeatable hypotheses, and science is neutral on the existence of a creator. Science doesn't seek to disprove that there's a creator, but science cannot prove there is a creator either. Creationism could be appropriately taught in a high school class that, for example, was on the subject of different world religions, or a philosophy class, something like that. Science is the wrong place to teach. A science classroom is the wrong place to teach creationism.
All right, and for the last question, do you think it's a good idea to teach the weaknesses of evolution to students while teaching them the strengths of the theory?
You know, people who understand the process of science don't see that the theory of evolution has weaknesses as much as that the theory of evolution, like any scientific theory, is not complete. There's always more to be learned. There are always more discoveries to be made. We haven't dug up every fossil that there is to find. We haven't analyzed every genome of every organism on this planet. So we are always making new discoveries, but all the discoveries that we make are consistent with this idea that the world changes over time and that change can be understood, and biological change is passed on from one generation to the next. So far the evidence has not suggested any different. If it does, the theory will be adjusted, but that's not a weakness, that's just the way scientific theories work.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome.